Evening all, and welcome to another horrific review. Doing this one a little bit earlier tonight because, to be quite frankly honest, I'm shattered and my old tired head will be hitting the hay not too long after this. Do a few more bits, but went on another wee search. Another movie I watched, but I'm gonna hang off on that one. And I found this one, Errementari, if I pronouncing that correctly. It's Basque-language, so it's a sort of variant of Spanish period piece. Basically translated means the blacksmith and the devil. Interesting one. To start off with, it takes a minute to get into. I was slightly concerned it wasn't going anywhere. A couple of things, just the pacing at the beginning really does take its time. Yeah, it's setting up the characters. It's set during the first Carlist War, which I believe is the Basque separation, which is still a topic today. They had a couple of those, I think I had 2 or 3 of them wars, and then if you think about Pan's Labyrinth was set during the Spanish Civil War, it's that kind of just earlier period, maybe about 100 years earlier. That side of things is shown really well. The costumes, the setting, the whole almost just coming out of the Middle Ages, look and vibe to it's really good. Once again, another complaint that I have with these type of movies is the subtitles, or not the subtitles, the dubbing. Everyone sounds like they're from Southern California because of who they get to do the translations. There is no shortage of talented Spanish people who speak English perfectly well because they're a neighbour. A lot of Brits go holiday there, and also talented actors that pretty sure speak English for the international stage. There would be absolutely no hassle whatsoever getting locals, especially when you're filming in the area, and getting local talent. There's just absolutely no reason why that couldn't have been done. So there's a bit of authenticity. I know dubbing's a difficult thing, but especially the kids really wind me up because they all sound like American high school students, and that just takes you out of it. You're just like, ugh. Just the way that they're interacting, and talking. But thankfully, it's the first part of the movie. It's the first sort of 20, 25 minutes. Bit tricky to get into. It opens up. Like I said, during the Carlist War, there's a confrontation. We meet oh god, what's his name? We meet the blacksmith, I forget his name. Plus I've got to butcher all the pronunciations anyway. But he's part of this. He's facing death, but see him making a deal with a demon to save his life. And then we kind of skip past that, the present day, where the village, we've got Ortiz, he's a government official, comes into a local inn. This village is falling hard times because the war is basically taking its toll. They're complaining that the government took all the metal and melted down the church bell, everything, their kitchen utility items to make guns and ammunition and all that kind of stuff. So this town's like basically grubbing by after the aftermath of the war. The government officials are to investigate the blacksmith's house, which they claim has been left abandoned. He's looking for. He didn't give a reason, but the kind of get the reason why he's doing it, because one of the kids swipes the official letter and the seal and they read it. But I'm trying not to spoil it as well because it is actually a decent movie. Once you get past the first 20 minutes or so and get into it, Ursa is the main character in this. Her name Usu. Yeah, it's I'm not too familiar with the Basque dialect, but it's not Spanish. Not traditional Spanish names. Something slightly derivative. I'm not too familiar with, so I'm not going to pretend to try and know or anything because that'd be a bit disingenuous. But yeah, they've interesting names and pronunciations, which is good. It's always a challenge to get something new. But yeah, we got her. She's an orphan. She's raised by the local priest and the school mistress, or can't remember exactly what her role is. She seems to be like a schoolmistress / caretaker / general matriarchal figure. There's a bit where the kids are teasing her, and that's a bit that really got me because of the dubbing. It's done on like Southern Californian accent type thing, high school talk, and it's really tricky. That's another thing as well. This is a period piece. Language is different, but when they seem to dub these movies, they don't just translate it into English; they translate it into modern 21st century English and use the inflections, and that's really jarring. I think that's actually what's getting me. Yeah, it's not so much the accent and the fact that it's dubbed. It's they actually change the language. So it'd be like, say they translated in Old English, Downton Abbey, right? Let's use that as an example, into French, but they didn't use the French of the period. And this is where it gets really tricky with languages and so on. So languages evolve. All languages, not just English, but all languages evolved over time. But they use modern day terminology with a period piece from a couple of hundred years previous really doesn't work. And that's where the suspension of disbelief, it gets really tricky. And that's basically what it is. Same as other movies I've covered, they do that, and it just, like I said, it just takes you out of it. But thankfully, it does get back on track. We'll see. So she's basically an outcast. She's scarring on the side of her face from burn. Her mother, we find out, committed suicide, which obviously religious town, mortal sin. Kids use that against her. Fully enough, it's the whole trope of the righteous people. So she's having a picnic, and there's a little grass snake, and kids throw rock and kill the snake. But they're the good people because she's going to burn in hell because her mother killed herself. But they're the good people, and yet they're doing that. How things all kick off is she has a wee doll. Two boys bully her. They break her doll in half, throw the head over the fence into the blacksmith. And that kind of kicks off a series of events. They try to visit the blacksmith. Things go wrong. Then they have to retreat, but in this village trying to serve a warrant or something stupid like that there, and search the place for something. The mess up, the come a cropper with them, but they leave the gate open so Usu's able to go in and does he get in and meet the blacksmith. This is where we find out that he's actually got a demon chained up, and the forge is working and everything else. So how people think the place is abandoned when the thing is so well lit with the forge, what he's forging, I've no idea, but he's got the forge going and living quite a comfortable life, all intents and purposes, especially winter. He's got that forge going and everything else, and nice and toasty. But the upshot of the story is he's got a demon held prisoner, and he's effectively poking sticks at it. He tortures it every day because he made a deal with the devil, and as always, when you make those sort of deals, there's always trickery involved. Same as the three wishes, it's always a warning tale. Careful what you wish for. Make a deal, goes wrong, but him, instead of succumbing to it, he captures the demon, and then he's been torturing it all this time. And he meets it, and then this is where the movie really changes pace, and it goes from this hard to watch sort of slogging along thing to really funny. And this is where the dark comedy comes into this, because it's put across as a dark comedy. He invites a wee girl, here, do you want to poke at the demon too? Here's how you poke at it, and it goes mental from there. There's more to the story how they all link together, And we hear the background of Usu's mother's tale. We also find out about the blacksmith and his, the story between his wife and him coming back from war and how that all went wrong. And we also find out what Ortiz, the government officials' ultimate end game is. And essentially, this movie then goes bonkers in the most fun way. It's the only way to describe it. It just goes mad. Like, it starts off really bland, horrible. I'm thinking, am I going to get through this? And then it just switches up a gear, and then it just rolls downhill and like takes you with it, and it just goes mental, and it's beautiful. It really is. It's actually if they had sorted out that first bit, this could easily be one of the best movies made in the last couple of years in terms of dark horror comedy. It is actually that good. Once you get past, because like I said, the dialogue's really, really clunky at the beginning, and then it just changes, and then it becomes more sort of action, body horror, body comedy. So the dialogue doesn't become that important, if it makes sense. It goes more with the pace of the movie, and then it flows better. You kind of get lost in it, and you go along for the ride. So there you go. Really fun. I was surprised. I thought I was going to struggle through it, but it did. It really did switch the gears. It surprised me. And once again, just another. Here's an example of local lore, a story not well told, a scenario not well told in the world, made use in horror. Fantastic. You can't argue with it. Yeah, I really enjoy it, and the characters turned out to be well. I love what do you call him? Startail, the demon, is brilliant in this. He's actually a brilliant character. It didn't go the way I thought, because even reading the premise, the description of the movie, the way they describe it, I thought it was going a completely different direction. But no, it does subvert your expectations, to use that horrible phrase, but you're expecting it to go completely one way. You're expecting your typical demon running rampage through the village and having to stop it, that sort of thing, but it's not that at all. And like, even the ending and the twist and the follow through and the sort of how the movie wraps up, which ties right back into the very beginning again, is brilliant and really funny. I'm trying to think of one that's similar. Pan's Labyrinth is darker. This is got it's got that same grim setting of Civil War, and it's got that, Pan's Labyrinth is a bit more modern, but it has that old worldly feel. But Pan's Labyrinth is a darker story. The reason I'm saying is because it's set in the same, it's within 100 years in Spain during a civil war. Spanish suffer civil wars, and they've had absolutely loads of them. But Pan's Labyrinth is definitely a darker movie. This has got a lighter comedy touch, and it's worth it. You actually do find yourself laughing, which is great. That's what you want, and that's a good thing about crossing boundaries. With language and everything else, you can, if something's pitched right, you can laugh along, you can get along with the script and the story, and you just get engrossed. So there you go. There's my review. Nice and short and simple. Check it out. I think I have stuck a link this time in the description, so click that and do all the good stuff. Do all the fun stuff for the channel, click like, subscribe, do the wordy stuff, which I'm feeling at the moment. I'm knackered. Sorry, guys. It's bedtime for Colin. But yeah, there you go. If you enjoy it, if you've watched it, let me know what you thought. If you do watch it since, do you agree, disagree with some of the points I made? And we'll speak soon. So there you go. Right. I'm going to wrap this up before I babble and tie myself up in knots, because I'm, like I said, my eyes are shutting here. But there you go. Until next time, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.